works doesn't really differ from 2014, so for demonstration purposes I'm going to be using a combination of clips from this 2015 S600 and a 2014 S63 to help compare and contrast and highlight some of the features. This main menu is one of the refreshed features for 2015 and allows customizable apps that you can reposition, you can turn the screen off if you don't want it on at night, and dual yield information displays. Now over the years, the Mercedes command system has undergone quite a few revisions that make it a lot more user-friendly and definitely feature-packed. The thin-film transistor liquid crystal display, like I mentioned, is controlled via the little command controller mounted in the center console. There's also some manual buttons up here that also correspond to the different menus if you didn't actually want to use the dial yourself. But it's pretty simple. You just click up, down, left and right, push down to select an option, and twist back and forth between the different sub-menus. So, for example, right now we're in one of our media screens. If we click the wheel up, it'll bring up the system menu. So, up top we can select the different options. If you click the wheel down, it'll highlight in the middle if you just wanted to control your media. And then going all the way down, we'll select the lower set. So it's basically a 3-tier menu, 1, 2, 3. Down below, it shows all of your climate control data, your compass up top, clock, as well as album artwork. So if we go up to nav, brings up the beautiful high-res display that also features real-time traffic updates. Right now we're in the full screen mode. If we click the wheel down, it'll bring up your navigation options as well as the other options like I showed you earlier. If you highlight the middle, you can bring it back to full screen. Going to the bottom, you have your destination input. All pretty simple. There's also a back button in the center console, which I'll show in just a second. Current position, your traffic options, and then your route options, as well as adjusting the orientation and what displays on the map. If we go all the way to the top and hit nav again, it'll bring up the different navigation options. But that's pretty much it for navigation in a nutshell. And if we go back up to radio, like I said, the vehicle comes standard with satellite radio as well as HD radio, and in this screen, you can scroll through the different area stations. Clicking down brings up your radio options where you can manually enter frequencies, and your HD radio stations. Go between HD, radio, satellite radio, internet radio if you want to stream something like Pandora. Song information, as well as radio station data. And your sound adjustments that'll display in all of the different media screens. So your surround settings, balance fade, and equalizer. And for the Burmeister system, it's pretty neat. There's almost like digitalized aluminum knobs built into the system. Clicking left, right, back and forth to go between the different settings, and twisting the dial to adjust to your liking. Once in the media screen, if you select the option again, you can go between the different options. So you have iPod auxiliary integration. There's an integrated hard drive, so I think you can store maybe around 10 gigabytes of MP3 files, SD card input, USB input, Bluetooth streaming of audio, whole lot of different functionality, in-dash CD player, and more. And down below, like I said, you can go between the devices, search songs, options, as well as your sound data. Your hands-free Bluetooth telephone will automatically ask you to pair it, and you can store contacts and voice dial through the voice recognition system. Now this is where you can pretty much customize every single aspect of the vehicle to your particular taste. So for vehicle settings, these are all the different personalizable options. And what's so neat is how interactive the menu is. Even on the mirror folding screen, the mirrors automatically tilt in, letting you know exactly what you're looking at. Like I said, it goes pretty in-depth. The ambient interior illumination shows up just about everywhere. Like you can see, it's going around the speedometer cluster. There's some here, there's some in the doors, just about everywhere, including the rear parcel shelf. And there's a few colors to choose from. Panel heating is another pretty neat feature. just about every surface in the S-Class can be heated. So, the center console here and back there, as well as all of the door handles and the steering wheel, not to mention the seats, can all be heated. So whenever you get in the vehicle on a nice cold day, just about everything you're going to naturally touch is going to be nice and warm. Your seat settings is where the multi-contour seats really come to life, where you can adjust everything from lumbar to bolstering, balance the seat heating, the hot stone massage feature, to basically encompass just about any body type. It's pretty amazing how detailed it really goes. Activation of your 360-degree camera, your owner's manual is built in, and your clock's set. Now while on the telephone screen as well, if you hit the button up top there, it'll bring up the little world icon where you can adjust the phone settings, address book, access the internet, your real-time weather updates through Sirius satellite radio, current, extended forecasts, as well as a map, and in a nutshell, those are all the basic features of the command system in the new S63. That's just scratching the surface essentially. The menus just go on and on forever, and it's so in-depth and it's an amazing piece of technology. You really just got to check it out and play with it for yourself to see how customizable it actually really is. To the left, in between the two screens, you have the controls for your rear sunshade and the upper button that'll lower the rear headrest for better visibility. The S-Class is also one of the newest Mercedes vehicles to adopt the circular air vents rather than the rectangular style found in the previous gen. They're beautiful, aluminum accent, very smooth, and you can open and close the vents via those little, almost like organ stop buttons. Elegant analog clock located front and center. Now the S-Class also comes standard with a dual-zone electronic automatic climate control that's fully independent. All accented in knurled aluminum toggle switches. You hit the menu button down below there, it'll bring up the menu here that you can use to control with the command switch. So, controlling the airflow and distribution through the vehicle, temperature. There's also an ionization feature, help purify the air a little bit more. For example, if you hit temperature, click the wheel left and right to go between the driver and passenger. Definitely neat. And you'd also control your perfume atomizer from here as well. Leather lines the entire center console, with the accent stitching trailing into the rear. Up front here is your lighter and ashtray and/or power outlet. And in the wood grain housing, you have a CD changer, your SD card input, as well as two cup holders. Also, LED lid. Although, like I said, are the manual controls for the command system if you didn't actually want to use the wheel. This one right here will bring up your seat settings. And then the one on the far right brings up all the vehicle settings. Your radio on button, volume, eco mode in conjunction with the vehicle's auto start stop feature gears the car for a little bit more economy, and with the auto start stop, every time you stop the vehicle, the engine will momentarily shut off until you take your foot off the brake, where it immediately reignites and helps improve fuel economy a bit. Down below that, your Comfort Sport manual modes for the transmission. Comfort is geared for the most, obviously, comfort and economy. Sport mode increases shift times by about 30%, and then manual mode allows for more full manual shiftability via the paddles like I touched on earlier. Your adaptive dampers for sport and comfort settings, as well as raising the vehicle via the adjustable air ride suspension. Underneath this little leather cover here is your dialing pad for your telephone, and it also controls your preset radio stations. Your leather-lined center console with the AMG insignia embossed on top, with a good-sized glove box lined in felt, with a little spot for one of the integrated remote controllers that come with the vehicle, AV inputs, your auxiliary iPod integration, as well as USB input. As far as the steering wheel, off to the right-hand side are your radio controls, hands-free telephone, and voice commands. Help.
For which functions do you want help? Change disc. Select track. Search for music. All media player functions, or voice controllable devices.
Cancel.
Cancel.
So it's a nice, pleasant voice, and I'll help walk you through the system so you can get more familiar with it. And to the left-hand side is your driver info controls for your information system located in between the speedometer cluster. If you hit the home button, which is right here, it brings you up to this screen here where you can basically control the same commands like you would find in the, well, command system. Service reminders, your personalizable options, as well as your AMG mode, which brings up a little digitalized speedometer, what gear you're in, and a couple other auxiliary gauges. The driving profile for the transmission, traction control, as well as the adaptive dampers. All nice and easy to see in an AMG specific digitalized speedometer cluster. And of course, your automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, high beams and turn signals, and your adaptive cruise control located down below there. Wonderfully built cabin. So we're going to shut her down. And we'll check out the back seat. Backseat passengers are treated with an abundance of luxury and features. With this S65 and the available Executive Rear Seat Package Plus, you have many of the same features and adjustments as the front, with the addition of an executive reclining right portion for stretching out and letting someone else take the wheel for you. This package is also available for other S-Class models. While the driving position should be an exhilarating one, it's hard to argue against the sumptuous environment out back as the ideal place to be. Like the front, everything is wrapped in supple Napa leather with diamond quilting on the doors and seat surfaces. There's extra switches on the door that correspond to your rear sunshade, shade for the panoramic roof, and opposite window. Everything is trimmed in aluminum, from the switchgear to the Burmester speaker grills, accented throughout by the Designo piano black trim, including the backs of the front seats, which wear signature AMG medallions. B-pillar air vents provide extra ventilation, and there's extra storage on the seat backs and lower door panels. The rear seats are of multi-contour design as well, featuring adjustable lumbar support, side bolsters, and shoulder support, not to mention active side bolsters that add more dynamic support through the corners. Even the 6 massage programs make their way out back, including 2 modes with a hot stone treatment. Of course, the seats are heated and ventilated with 3-person memory to go along with the standard power adjustments for the left-hand side seat. Providing extra support and comfort are adjustable wraparound headrests with detachable Alcantara pillows. LED lights provide a contrast in the leather rear shelf, while the rear seats also receive AMG tags on the backrests. An important note, the full-length center console is not standard, that's a part of the executive rear seat package. Otherwise, in the standard S-Class you have a fold-down center console, otherwise you can sit 3 people back there. When you order the executive package, you also have a little bit less cargo space out back. A quad-zone climate control is optional. So let's talk about rear seat room with the standard non-center console S-Class. Climbing into the back seat of the S-Class is like climbing into a large, luxurious, leather-lined limousine. Comfort is absolutely fantastic. The doors shut with such a tight thud that you would expect out of a car in this class. And the interior room and space is just absolutely incredible. Over in Europe, they actually have a shorter wheelbase version, but the one that we get for America, like I mentioned earlier, is only the long wheelbase counterpart. But I'm about 5'11", and this particular car actually has the option of reclining rear seats. So if you use the door-mounted controls, it automatically slides out. You can raise the back up and down, as well as control the height of the headrest. So you can just kick back and relax. Easy access to a large center console here with 2 cup holders, bit of storage down below, as well as a pocket out back. There's also some vanity mirrors up top, accented with LEDs. So really, I'm 5'11", even with the seat extended out a bit, I feel like I can still kick my feet up and relax. There's so much room back here, so especially people over 6 feet, the back seat is absolutely perfect for taller individuals. And for a little first-person comparison, like I said, I'm 5'11", plenty of interior room, your ambient illumination down there, across the doors, and if you look closely in the dash, you'll see it wrapping around the bottom portion of the wood. Air vents in the B-pillars, coat hook, leather-lined grip handles back here, LED reading lamps, as well as a Bluetooth microphone. Of course, side curtain airbags in the rear, and a leather-lined parcel shelf. Wood and leather center console with 2 cup holders. Storage down below. And your storage pocket all the way in the rear. And your air registers with a little bit of storage. And a 150 watt AC outlet. Of course, the highlight of the Executive Seating Package Plus is the folding center console, tray tables, and the fully reclining rear seat. In addition to the power adjustments on the left side, the right side reclines to 43 degrees and includes both a power calf rest and footrest. To make sure there's enough room, through the door mounted controls you're able to slide the passenger seat forward when unoccupied an additional 3 inches, as well as tilting the seat back forward. By pressing the top left button, you're able to use the door mounted seat controls to control the passenger seat. And when you move it all the way forward, the bottom left button will actually tilt it forward a little bit more and start reclining your seat so you can stretch out and relax. So now let me walk you through the sequence. Like I said, pressing the top left hand button, using the seat controls, you're able to go ahead and tilt and slide the seat forward. Once you do that, press the bottom left button, and it automatically collapses the headrest, moves the screen, and starts tilting the seat forward even further up into the dash. This adds to a significant amount of increased legroom, especially for taller individuals. Now for a quick first-person perspective, the screen tilts down so you can easily see it with the increased angle of the backrest, the headrest tilts down so it clears the visor up front, and then it all tilts forward up into the dash. Later on, a power footrest will automatically extend out from the bottom, providing you extra leg support. Once the front seat is forward enough for you, you can press that same bottom left-hand button again and it'll automatically start reclining the rear seat. It'll extend the lower cushion, lay back the back portion, and start bringing out your thigh support. There's even an extra pillow on the thigh support like you would find on the headrest for supreme comfort. Once complete, I'm able to fully stretch out. Just like the backrest and lower cushion, the thigh support can be adjusted independently via the door-mounted controls, either bringing it in, extending it out depending on how long your legs are, and bringing it up or down. So now let's talk a little bit more about backseat amenities. With the full-length center console, it's entirely wrapped out of Nappa leather and has LED accenting. Like the front, it also has the AMG crest embossed on top. The seat belts light up and automatically extend down when you open up the doors. There's a little bit of storage back there and plenty of black piano veneer. One of the highlights of this vehicle are the foldable aluminum trays that stow neatly in the center console. They extend out, flip around, and have a little bit of grippier texture so you can put a laptop or drink or something like that and it won't slide anywhere. It basically provides neat writing desks for both of the passengers to get a little bit of work done on a longer trip. Within the console, you have a bit of felt-lined storage with some media inputs, AV inputs, and an extra power outlet. The console also houses the controls for the quad-zone climate control with a similar air vent style like you would find in the front. Within the console, you have an extra power outlet, lighter, and heated and cooled cup holders in 2 variable sizes. As far as the rear seat entertainment system, composed of 2 LCD monitors on either side that basically have the same multimedia infotainment system as you would find in the front. If you look in this fold down center console in this particular model, inside there's 2 remotes, basically matching the same one up front like I mentioned earlier. The function is pretty simple. You have a little dialing pad right here where you can store presets or actually dial a telephone. Up top here is where you control which screen that you're going to do. So if you hit the command, it's going to control the front basically. So if you do left rear, you can control the radio too, volume, all that kind of stuff. Just basically, I showed you a little while ago how you can actually select the sound to be in one of these areas. When it's like that, then you have full functionality of whatever you want to listen to essentially. in the vehicle settings. Like I said, basically the same thing that you saw up front. Wonderfully comfortable. So let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? Trunk space in the S-Class is a respectable 18 cubic feet. Plenty for hauling a couple sets of golf clubs or taking an extended vacation. As you saw, the trunk lid is fully powered as standard with polished entry guards and storage nets on either side. The passenger seat features all of the same power adjustments that you find on the driver's seat, including the multi-contour settings, heating and ventilated, and 3-person memory. Lockable glove box, also padded, lined in felt, with a good amount of space, as well as the perfume atomizer. There's also a little air dispenser right there. When the air conditioning is active, you can open that up. It'll filter in cold air to keep things chilled. The Mercedes S-Class is a legend in pioneering technology. It's the benchmark to what other luxury sedans are measured to, and it's always something to behold with each new iteration. Combining prestigious power, refinement, and comfort, not to mention economy, the S-Class has once again reaffirmed its top spot in the ultra-luxury sedan market. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2015 Mercedes-Benz S65 AMG. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.